meatball Italian.
Yikes.
Today we're looking at the newly developed torture technique by HBO, and it's named Velma.
Damn, Dilf City. Sorry, continue.
Based on the very popular series Scooby-Doo. You probably didn't watch this, but if you did,
May God have mercy on your soul.
it was probably out of morbid curiosity. But if you didn't and you're curious about the show, that's why I'm here. You may have noticed that this show is getting obliterated online. Everybody is talking trash about this show right now. I was kind of curious, so I gave the first 2 episodes a watch. Is all the hate warranted? Is the show as bad as they say? Absolutely.
Okay, I see how this looks bad.
While I don't think it's fair to judge a piece of media on its trailer alone, the trailer for this show did not bode well. If you're one of the people that saw the trailer for this, then you probably noticed all the warning signs. No funny jokes, very awkward dialogue. Imagine how unfunny the show is if in the trailer there isn't a single funny joke.
Muddy? Oh, sorry I'm not a drunk on the verge of losing custody like every other woman solving murders these days.
Velma is voiced by Mindy Kaling. She had her rise to fame on The Office. She also voiced the character Disgust in the movie Inside Out. And it makes a whole lot of sense that she would voice that character, because look at what she admitted live on TV.
And he came on the show and we had to do this flashback sequence where we were in bed together in college. In the middle of it, she was just supposed to be like, "What do you think, Mindy?" And I was like, and I looked around and I improvised just kissing him in the scene, which was not in the script.
It's not that, see, you just went for it. You just started kissing that guy, that picture, yeah.
It was just looming. And then I walked backstage. We have 2 writer-producers. Hey, man, what are you doing? You could be sued for that. And I got very scared. And then I said, tell anyone and you're fired.
Wow, that's illegal.
She expected this to come across as a joke just because she's a woman. It's so weird. Women can't sexually harass people. That's just how it works. Thank you so much to Helix for sponsoring today's video. For those that don't know, Helix makes premium mattresses, customized to fit your needs, shipped straight to your door. Once you take Helix's sleep quiz, it'll match you with your perfect mattress, based on your body type and sleep preferences. I'm mostly a side sleeper, and after taking the quiz, I found out that the Helix Moonlight Luxe was the perfect mattress for me. And ever since I took that quiz and the bed showed up right outside my door, I've been having the best sleep of my life. You can take the sleep quiz with a partner to find a mattress that fits both of your needs. Upgrade to the Glacio Text cooling cover for additional customization if you sleep warm. Ever since getting this mattress, my sleep has improved drastically. I used to have a lot of back pain. Sleeping on my previous mattress did not help. Ever since getting this Helix mattress, my sleep has been perfect. We've had this mattress for well over a year now. It's just as, if not more comfortable than it was when we first got it, and it has served us perfectly. After you order your mattress, it will come rolled up in a box, and it's extremely easy to set up. And if you're unsure whether or not you want a Helix mattress, they give you a 100-night sleep trial to ensure that you love it. Helix mattresses include a 10-year warranty, and they offer financing options and flexible payment plans. You can get free shipping within the US. Visit helixsleep.com/ElvisTheAlien to get up to $200 off your Helix mattress, plus 2 free pillows. Thank you so much to Helix for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate it. Now back to the review. Not only did they swap out the endearing goofball Shaggy with this weird simp named Norville, the most painful part of the show is that Fred is voiced by Glenn Howerton.
Seriously, who is this weirdo?
The Golden God himself. Like many others, I find him hysterical in Always Sunny.
I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds!
And I'm glad that he's getting work. But come on, not like this! He was this close to getting Star-Lord, and he got this instead! To make it even worse, this is a Scooby-Doo show without Scooby-Doo. Let's start with episode 1. The show immediately starts with commentary about how boys are bad and girls are great.
Normally, origin stories are about tall, handsome guys struggling with the burden of being handed even more power. And if they are about girls, it's usually like, hey, what made this hot chick go crazy?
And then 2 cockroaches bang for no reason.
This school sucks.
Daphne then shares some very strange commentary about how sex and nudity is always very prevalent in the pilots of shows. Disguised Velma shows up to ask Daphne how she feels about race-blind casting.
As an Asian woman, I think it's cool. I mean, not to oversimplify a thorny issue, but everyone loves it when white people play Jesus or a professional boxer. Why can't it ever go the other way, right?
What is this dialogue? Why didn't the creators of this show just create a YouTube video about how they feel about inclusivity in Hollywood? Hollywood. That would have saved them a lot of trouble. It really does feel like the writers of the show use the show as a vehicle to express how they feel about Hollywood nowadays. And this will only become more apparent as I continue. This show is so weird because it romanticizes and almost fetishizes lesbianism, but then it'll turn around and make some weird comment about how men suck and men with small dicks are lesser.
I thought lesbians were good at solving crimes. It's like the one positive stereotype perpetuated by cop shows.
The commentary on the entertainment industry is non-stop in this show, and it's never funny, not once.
But if the kids in every teen show ever can get through a brush with a deranged serial killer, so can I.
There's a scene of Velma being questioned at a police station by 2 female officers. The 2 officers in this scene imply that Velma is ashamed of her looks
because of your hairy gorilla arm.
No!
And you're like a King Kong.
Velma's dad got a random waitress pregnant, and now she lives with them. And there's a part when she rips her clothes off for a nude photo shoot, but it isn't a punchline. It just comes out of nowhere. You'll find very quickly that that's how most of the jokes work in this show. They'll just do something random and silly and hope for a laugh. It's not a joke. It's just random goofy shit. The lowest tier of comedy possible. Frankly, it's embarrassing. So this girl Brenda died. She had her brain removed.
I'm not dissing her. She has no brain!
At her funeral, one of her friends says, in pop culture, when the slutty girl dies, we're all like, maybe she deserved it. So Brenda was a slut when she was alive, I guess. Nice. Very weird thing to say at their funeral, but I guess that's the joke. And then she says, she's the rare slut that didn't deserve to be murdered. Dear Lord. What makes it worse is that the people listening just go along with this batshit behavior. But doing something awkward and stupid for no reason is not normally funny. The reason it's funny in shows like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is because we get to watch the reactions of the normal people who are subjected to these insane bar owners.
The thing is she's not gonna say no. She would never say no because of the implication.
The humor comes from the reactions we get from the insane stuff that people do. And sometimes it's so out there and so crazy that it can be funny on its own. But this show never achieves that.
Magnum Dom.
A main problem with the comedy in the show is that everybody in the show is in on the joke. Nobody has a strange reaction to something. Whenever someone does something ridiculous, it's just normal in this world. I love the time in comedies when people do insane things. The act itself is not what makes it funny. It's the people's reactions to what's going on. That's what makes it funny, because you can kind of relate to how these people are feeling.
I get it. Everybody knows about the ultimatum.
Yes, I told everyone.
Hey, right back at you, bitch.
But in this show, people do ridiculous shit, and then we just move on to the next ridiculous thing. Norville meets up with Velma and keeps calling voicemails VMs over and over and over again.
Didn't answer my VMs. Voicemails. If you listen to my VMs. Voicemails. Though I left you some other VMs. Voicemails.
I know what VMs are!
In my VMs. I left you 6 more VMs.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
That's why it's funny, because he does it over and over and over and over and over again. You know what they say, if a joke doesn't land, just say it 10 more times, and then it'll land. Who wrote this? Put them in jail. Norville and Velma go for a drive to speak about the case. Norville says something about hating drugs, and the music stops, indicating to the audience that it's time to laugh. But at what?
It has something to do with drugs, which I hate.
There's no joke here! Oh my god, it just gets worse. Okay, let's keep going. The funniest joke in this show so far is Velma looking at the contents of a camera. She reacts like she's seeing something horrible, but then her dad says, yes, it's true. So the audience is getting ready to see something horrible, right? Who knows what could be on this camera? But it's followed up with babies dressed up as vegetables. Granted, this is another random equals funny, but it was also a misdirect, so it lands way harder than any other joke in the show. But it also barely lands, so... There was a morsel of comedic value during this one instance, so I had to highlight it, okay? And the fact that this is one of the only times that this happens in the first 2 episodes is astonishing. This part didn't even get a laugh out of me. I exhaled a little bit harder than I usually do when it happened, because I was like, ha, babies in vegetable costumes? That's a baby dressed up as a fucking corn. There's this really awkward part when Velma is having a hallucinatory nightmare, and the way Norville gets her out of this hallucination is by by expressing his feelings for her. He's got a huge crush on Velma.
You're like a brother to me.
So he tells her, thinking it will like shock her awake or something. But instead, she laughs at him. And she's like, keep going, that was funny. And so he keeps going. And then the hallucination ends. She thinks it's hilarious. So F's in the chat for Norville. They really tried to make this guy pathetic, didn't they?
I'm the funniest man alive.
This scene is just unbelievably painful. Norville gets over this very quickly too. Like every loser should, I guess. Just get on with life, dude. She doesn't like you. It's revealed that Fred has hairless legs, which is very embarrassing. Fred's a late bloomer and he's very embarrassed by this. He has hairless legs and a small pee-pee, and he tries to hide them at all costs. You hear that, kids? If you're a late bloomer, you should be embarrassed. You still have a squeaky voice, little baby. Can't grow hair on your legs? Hide that. You're not a real man. You're a little baby boy, little baby boy. Well, have a small penis? Disgusting.
Make sure you change that.
Fred is shot through both kneecaps and then arrested, and then the episode ends. Episode 2. It only gets worse from here. You thought the first episode was bad? No, no, no. This one is far worse. Right away, this episode makes a joke about small penises. God, I hate this show. Fred's dad really cares about how big his son's penis is. They make that apparent in this scene.
It's not small, it's scared.
If I were to make a review on this entire show, this video would be like 3 hours long. So, a news reporter calls Velma Dinkley Vermin Dorkley.
Velma Dorkley.
It's very funny, but it doesn't make any sense because 2 seconds later, the reporter says her father's last name correctly. Velma is on a mission to find her missing mother, and her father does not care about her missing mother.
I have to go find my missing mother.
And then the show continues with the Fred has a small dick joke.
The rich white guy with a tiny dong, he did it.
It's a little much. Somehow everybody knows how big Fred's dick is, and then her father mentions it. Like, I know that's why it's supposed to be funny. Her father shouldn't know how big Fred's dick is.
Oh yeah, real baby carrot. And I'm gonna ride it all the way to victory.
Huh?
So that was embarrassing. Just because something is stupid and outrageous does not mean it's funny. Take Mr. Bean, for example. He does a lot of dumb stuff, a lot of outrageous things. But it's the reactions of the normal people around him that makes it funny. Because he's the weird one, the odd one out. In this show, everybody is that odd one out, so it's not funny. In the show, it's 420, and all the kids at school are high. Norville asks Velma if she knows what 420 means. Who doesn't know what 420 means? What's even worse is Velma's response.
It's code for adults who still watch cartoons.
The hell does that mean? Like, it's not even a joke. Not all adults who watch cartoons are potheads. Is that even a stereotype, or did they just make that up for this show? Velma has to go. So Norville asks her if she wants him to accompany her. And this is her very strange response.
Thanks, but after catching Fred, I feel my hallucinations are like the return of high-waisted jeans. It took a while, but we're finally through the worst of it.
What does that even mean? She likes high-waisted jeans? Like, what? Did they test these jokes on anybody?
No.
Or were they so confident that this stuff was funny that they were just like, whatever, just put it out there. People will love it. Velma tries to make amends with Daphne because Daphne is the daughter to these 2 cops. They do this dumb joke about how Velma literally wrote something verbatim on the wall, and Daphne's like, oh, you call me this. And Velma's like, no, I don't. And Daphne's like, look at the wall. It says exactly what you said you didn't call me.
I was being sarcastic. You can't read tone in graffiti.
Velma wants the cold case file for her mother, which Daphne's parents have because they're cops. Velma asks Daphne to get it for her, and Daphne's like, I'll do it for $500. And Velma goes, that's like $1 million. No, you don't get it though. What makes this scene so much funnier is at the very end, Velma gets hit in the face by a Frisbee, and she doesn't even react. It's so funny when people get hit by things and it doesn't faze them at all. The jokes during this scene weren't very powerful, so they had to, put a cherry on top. Glenn Howerton's voice acting makes Fred's awfully unfunny character and dialogue almost bearable. Glenn Howerton has a naturally funny delivery, so sometimes you can fool yourself into thinking you're watching something funny if you just close your eyes and listen to the way he says things.
Bring the full weight of Jones Gentleman's accessories and Jones Gentleman's accessories for women down on your head! The thunder of my vengeance will echo through these corridors like the gust of 1,000 wind!
You're like, oh, haha, I remember laughing at something that sounded like this this in a different show that's way, way, way better. In this show, Fred is an arrogant, childish idiot. And I'm guessing it's because he's the only character from the main cast that they kept white. He's got white privilege, right? And he's gotta be dumber than a stump. He's sexist, he has a small dick. What else can we do to him?
Oh God, he looks like Hitler!
Don't get me wrong, I love inclusivity. I always try to combat the anti-woke mob on YouTube.
What's wrong? Scared.
And I hate the word woke. I just think it gets thrown around too much, and it's mostly used in dumb circumstances. But in this show's case, they might have a point. Oh God! Oh no! I can't believe I'm aligning with the unbearably cringy anti-woke culture mob. I promise I won't mention Brie Larson once in this video. Aside from that time that I just did. So yeah, like I was saying, this show is extremely heavy-handed with its need to be inclusive and diverse. If this stuff bothered me in this show, then I can't even begin to think how much this show must annoy these other people out there. Let me just go through it all, and then you'll see what I mean. So this is what the original Scooby-Doo gang looked like. This is what they look like in this show. If we just kept it at that, I wouldn't care. Maybe put Scoob in there. I like Scoob. Put the dog in. Come on, put the dog in. Daphne is Asian with multiracial lesbian moms. Velma is Indian. Shaggy's black and straight, but also a pathetic simp. Velma and Daphne have lesbian chemistry, and it's romanticized and almost fetishized.
Guess I didn't try hard enough.
See, now if this was a show, it'd be super hot if you two kissed.
The only remaining straight white character of the main cast is Fred. And in this show, he's an evil, entitled rich baby who's overtly repulsive in every way. He misgenders Velma in one scene.
It is just a scared little boy.
There's multiple jokes about whiteness, which wouldn't normally be a problem, but they're lazy, and this show fails to make fun of any other race.
If I were a rich white dude, I'd kill everybody.
Everyone loves it when white people play Jesus.
White girl with too much money.
Those are all white people, Daphne. Wait, so a couple of middle-aged white dudes are gonna decide which of us are hottest?
You look like a white influencer.
Isn't it a little comforting to see a rich white guy get wrongly convicted for once?
One time is funny, two times is fucking annoying, no?
This show is so desperate to include everybody and everything that they randomly focus on an amputee during a chase sequence for no reason. And then the show also makes a ton of jokes at men's expense. There's jokes about toxic masculinity, about penis size, they hypersexualize men's bodies. We get it, show. White privilege and the patriarchy exist. The show itself becomes a joke because of how desperately they're trying to make these things funny.
According to TV, it's morally okay to deal drugs.
And for a show all about inclusivity, you'd assume they would include dogs, right? What do you have against dogs? Dogs are the best thing out there. Trash Scooby. Get him out of here. We don't need Scooby. What? Why'd I make that sound? All of this is just a little bit overbearing. You don't just notice the agenda with this show, they're vomiting it in your mouth. Please stop. All of this is just a little bit overbearing. Fred chokes on pancakes because he's so terrible at everything he does, he can't even chew his own food. He needs someone to like baby bird it into his mouth. But that might have been so ridiculous that it might have been funny. Probably not. If that's the main technique they're using to get laughs, you might as well turn up to 11, you know? Just have them start shitting all over the place. If you're gonna go the big mouth route, then go all the way. The dialogue during this scene is so unbearable.
Ah, crap, I'm all syrupy. Bathies!
Whoever wrote this show needs to be shut into an Iron Maiden.
JoJo, baby!
When Fred wants his food cut, cutties.
Mother, cutties.
Velma goes to Norville's house, and Daphne's cop moms are there, and they do this.
And that's the 411 home skillet. Words.
How do you do, fellow kids? Dead rats and suicide.
Holy shit, could this be any worse? They call Velma V-Dog? The only funny thing in this episode are the pictures of Norville in the background on the wall. They're just a bunch of random pictures of him, and there's one picture of the back of his head. The fact that I found that funnier than anything else speaks volumes, I think. Velma enters Norville's room, he's live streaming, and then he says this to her.
I can't get banned for your thoughts on South Asian desserts again.
What is this dialogue? How is that a joke?
Like the dessert course at an Indian restaurant. Just forget it.
Then after Velma leaves the room, Norville has the weirdest line ever. He looks down at his sword and says this.
In teen movies, whenever a girl needs money, a guy sells something and then blackmails the girl into dating him for it.
Who the hell hears that and laughs? Not one human I know would laugh at that. To be honest, I don't watch a lot of teen movies. But even if you do, who is hearing this and going, oh yeah, dude, you're so right. That happens all the time. There's no way that's a teen movie trope, and I'm just now hearing about it. I'm sorry, there's no way. It's revealed in the next scene that Daphne is the Candyman, which is the school's drug dealer. They call him the Candyman, but it's really Daphne, so the Candy Woman. Daphne says this: according to TV, it's morally okay to deal drugs if your life is just kind of crappy. According to what TV exactly? Velma retorts, minorities on TV can only deal drugs to escape poverty. This dialogue is driving me insane. It's not witty, clever, or funny. This entire script feels like just random observations that the writers had in their lifetimes about certain things. And they're like, oh, that'd be funny. Everybody will relate to this. Let me put it in. And have nobody, not a soul, watch it or critique it. Let's just release it.
Why isn't this luring the crowd towards me?
It's gonna be great. People are gonna love it. What the fuck? Velma then says this:
I spit truth without a filter, like every comedian before #MeToo.
Look.
Are they really trying to make a joke out of Me Too? Stop the show. How did nobody read this and think it was weird? Stop the show. The writers of this show know about the Louis C.K. thing, right? Chris D'Elia, Bill Cosby. I bet Velma loves all of these comedians. 1 second, they're being very careful to make fun of the perfect people so they don't get canceled. And the next second, they make a joke like this. Who is this show for? Norville wants to get $500 for Velma, so he tries to sell his sword. Velma sells drugs for Daphne to earn the files on her missing mother. I think I got it.
Drugs are like crack to these people.
Because crack is a drug. Crack is a drug. Crack is a drug. Crack is a drug. The worst part being this was one of the better jokes in this episode. Velma goes around failing miserably to sell drugs because she can't help but be a massive bitch to people. Velma in the original Scooby-Doo will make like snarky observations.
Is there a point to this?
But it was also endearing and funny. But in this show, she makes strangely accurate assumptions about people. Just listen to this.
What'll it cost?
Not much, just your dad's love when you blow out your knee and lose your scholarship. You know what else feels forced? Your belief that you're the only one sleeping with the lead.
Okay, you're fired.
She's just conveniently correct about these people's lives somehow. She's that smart. And what she's saying about these people aren't stereotypes. They're random guesses, so the humor is non-existent. Norville enters a sketchy apartment to sell his kidney for $500. Jesus Christ. This mega simp angle with this new Shaggy, it's not funny at all. I liked it a lot more when he was a doofus and a lot of women were falling for him and he didn't know what to do about it. That was a lot funnier.
Like, why do girls have to be so confusing?
There's a scene of Fred being introduced as a literal baby to onlookers by Velma's father. A storm comes out of nowhere and ruins his disguise that people fell for somehow. Someone takes a picture of him and it looks like he's doing the Nazi salute. So the guy who took the picture compares him to Hitler and then he makes the very astute observation.
And not just because we compare everyone to Hitler these days.
Very clever writing, show. That's so true. Up top. Norville accidentally helped apprehend a wanted man, so he's given a $500 reward by Daphne's mom. Daphne's mom literally says this.
Good luck using it to coerce Velma into dating you.
What? Lots to unpack here. The reward just happened to be the exact amount that Norville needed. That's nice. How did Daphne's mom magically know why Norville needed the money? Cops willingly giving a reward to someone for the purposes of coercion. That's weird. And I know that's the joke. Still weird. Norville declines the money because he wasn't the one that caught the guy, when he was totally cool with selling his kidney for $500 earlier. I can't do this anymore, dude. In court, Velma is called to the stand by her father because she came to the conclusion that Fred is innocent, but he's still an entitled moron with a small dick. Velma makes sure to remind us of this.
That he was just another entitled rich guy who might kill someone because he has a tiny dong.
During this scene, Fred calls a plate a dingle hopper because he doesn't know what a plate is called.
You just cut the food and put it on the, what's the dumb thing called? A dingle hopper.
I honestly couldn't imagine worse dialogue. Fred's just that stupid, dude. Fred is so pampered that he doesn't even know how to cut his own food. So they have him demonstrate his incompetence. They give him a steak and he fails to cut it. It's embarrassing. It's not funny at all. Everyone in court laughs at him. The judge does nothing to stop this. And to further prove how unstable and fragile Fred is, being a white male, they have him do this.
That's not true! I'm a big boy! Could have removed those dumb girls' brains no problem if I wanted to.
And then the judge announces that he's guilty.
Based on what?
Makes sense. Whatever. It's a cartoon courtroom. That's how it works.
You look like a queer.
Well, okay, so now you're calling me a queer in the courtroom?
Velma then says, wow, blonde hair people have bad days too. The way they made this smart, snarky kid into a naive, prejudiced douche is so strange and unbecoming to me. Velma then has another hallucination. A ghost attacks her. Nobody else can see them. Think of it as a much worse version of Stranger Things. Daphne is with Velma, and in order to get Velma to snap out of it, Daphne starts making out with her. Remember, kids, if your friend is having a panic attack, just make a sexual advance on them. It'll always work.
Yeah.
This episode ends with Norville arriving and watching them make out. He's got a pretty snazzy outfit on. Too bad he's a simp. It's so sad how pathetic they're making Norville in this show. God damn it. So yeah, that's what I thought of Velma. Let me know what you thought of this show in the comment section down below. If you saw the rest of the show, let me know how it pans out. And yeah, let me know what you'd like me to review next in the comment section down below. Thank you so much to all my patrons. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.